I think people would have a lot less pessimism around the economy if they went into it with the thought process of companies are out to make money and that is it. I think too often we assign our own morality to economic systems and the companies that operate in them. And then that causes us to get mad and pissy about how they don't serve us in the way we want them to, when in reality, they were never designed to do that in the first place. And this is one of the reasons why I very rarely, if ever, complain about prices. Like, you will never see me go to the gas station and be like, oh my God, it's like $4 a gallon, it's $5 a gallon. Like, I have to get the gas anyway, bro. Like that, I have to pay for it. Like that's the reality of it. And yeah, the people who gouge you with prices, and I don't even know. It might be the case that companies could survive with less money. The CEOs could survive with less money. Sure, I'm sure that's true. But people are not in business to give you deals. I'm not sure where this type of weird moral high ground came from, where people are like assigning moral value to businesses and being like, well, they should do like, all right, you telling the economy what should happen when you can't afford to live has never been a fix, ever. Like, I do not walk into the world expecting people to take care of me. And I think part of the problem is a lot of us walk into the world thinking that this thing we call society is communal, and it's not. It hasn't been for a very long time. We gave up community and the whole village idea for individuality and autonomy. You all talk a lot about individual freedoms a lot of times. We hear a lot of people talk about how they want to make their own choice about their lives. Well, that comes with a price. And the price is, in order to serve all of you individualistic people, you all are going to have to pay. And now you're paying. So if you find yourself looking around saying, this is not how it should be, realize it is a direct reflection of the lifestyle that we as society chose, especially in the West. We chose a version of our reality that allows us to, I mean, most of us can do things that people 50 years ago couldn't even imagine. Like, we pick up the phone, like on our cell phone, we don't know something, we either Google it or ChatGPT it immediately. You don't think that has a cost? It might be free to you in the moment, but you don't think that's a cost? The fact that you can go into a store in the middle of the night in a lot of major cities, most places are just open. You don't think that's a cost? I think a lot of times what happens is we do not count the cost of our convenience, and then we have this weird reaction when it actually pains us, when we actually have to deal with what the cost is. Like, and a lot of people will say like, oh, well, these people don't even make that much money. Like the people who are stocking the shelves and doing all the work that would give us that convenience. Yeah, but the physical labor in our economy is not valued based on how difficult the labor is alone. It's about difficulty and how easily is that labor replaced. If I can get someone to stock the shelves right after you, I'm not going to pay very much for that labor because I can always replace you. That's how prices work. This is why even if you have someone who's stocking shelves all night and you have like a welder or something, like there comes not only a difficulty, but a skill set that most people don't have. It's rare. Rarity also pays in our economy. So when you walk around and you say like, it's not fair that the average person is making X, Y, and Z dollars and things cost this much. The average person is doing average work. The average person is doing things that almost any of you could do without almost no training. Most of you could walk into a grocery store and have about 5 minutes of conversation about what it is to stock a shelf. I know, I worked in a grocery store. That was my very first job. I was a cashier. It wasn't that difficult. And when I left, they replaced me almost immediately. Now, I made like $7.20 an hour, maybe back then, right? I don't know. I don't remember exactly. Might have been less than that. But the point is, I was happy to have a job because it provided some type of relief from a bill, right? And if you are somebody who says like, even with a job I can't pay, then you got to get more work. Like that's the reality. Or you have to be able to increase your skills or increase what you provide to the market that allows you to charge more. If you have a job, you are not in charge of what your labor costs. I think people don't understand that. So like what we have is a lot of people complaining, again, setting expectations of the economy about how hard their labor is and why that's worth something more. Just because you've convinced yourself of that does not mean the market is convinced of that. The market is not about how it feels to you. The market is about how easily you're replaced. So if your work is so valuable, you could be the best customer service associate in the world, and you still could be replaced very easily because there is a willingness in the market to replace you and an ease. That's just the reality. I know nobody wants to hear that shit. It's hard to live. I know. But what you got to ask yourself is, let's say you're right. They should pay you more. Okay. Now what? What you gonna do? You gonna just keep going on social media and complaining about it and hope that it gets better? Like that's what I'd never understand about people who complain about shit like this. Like when you complain about prices, how do you think that like that venting, if that's all it is for you, just venting, fine. But how do you think that's impacting your reality? Is it getting better? Like you still lay on your bills. What are you doing about that? So you could have all the moral high ground in the world. You could tell me all day how much you should and shouldn't and whatever you think should be the case. All right, fine. It doesn't change the mechanisms by which the economy churns. And that's where you are. That's what you live in. And remember, you are somebody who most of y'all are people who like your individuality. You like to be able to run out and like it'll never stop amazing me how many people will talk like this. People making the least amount of money spending the most on things that are extracurricular. Like y'all still go to the Beyonce and Chris Brown concerts. Y'all still order DoorDash at midnight. Y'all still order Domino's at midnight. Trust me, I know I fucking delivered for there. Not that long ago. People with the least amount of money still rely on convenience because they believe they should get convenience without having to pay for it. So you got to understand, there is a very clear relationship between the life you live and the fact that your job provides you with an income. Like it'll be a very different world if capitalism doesn't exist, right? And I'm not saying capitalism is perfect by any means, but shit could be worse. Is my point. There's very few systems where you could just go out and make your own way if you are paying enough attention. And every time you complain about price, what you do is you divorce yourself from the reality of how the mechanisms work. If you don't make enough, that is a very specific problem to you. Even if everybody else is having the same problem, it is still a problem that you personally are responsible for. You collectively cannot share that burden unless you guys want to go back to villages. And I don't think you all want to go back to villages because I think a lot of y'all are too addicted to the smartphones. You're too addicted to being able to order shit at 3 a.m., getting it delivered to your door on Amazon. And honestly, if you're going to keep that, there is a cost. So don't complain about the price. Just look around and realize that your labor, if pay is the issue for you, your labor is valued at that rate for a reason. So up the game. Don't be mad at it. Up it. I'll talk to y'all later.